Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursday. I went and saw Disclosure Day, so we'll be talking about that one. I have a couple Marvel movies for you, and I found a little kind of like hidden little treat here on Amazon for you with the Johnny Knoxville movie, plus our box office report. So that is what we'll be covering today. Um, we will start with the newest movie. How about that? That's, I think, the best way to go here. And that'll be Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, and Colin Firth. If you found out you weren't alone, if somebody showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? Houston also pulls up in this, Coleman Domingo and Wyatt Russell. Honestly, this movie is actually way better than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I I thought it was going to be kind of like something different than it was, but I mean, it really did a good job. It is a tidbit of a slow burn here, but we don't ever really take that away from these type of movies if they have a huge and explosive ending, and this movie definitely has a huge and explosive ending. Steven Spielberg obviously did this. We know his pedigree, even though if recently it hasn't been that high. Just looking at the numbers early, it's pretty well done, especially since his last movie was just such a garbage movie, box office wise, and just like a remake like no one wanted at all. Not only was it a remake, it was like a shot for shot remake of the original kind of musical movie part of that too as well, and the people involved in it were not even very well. And plus, we know who the one female is. She's the crazy one that kind of took over Snow White and stuff like that that we just don't really talk about much. But that is all kind of interconnected there with Steven Spielberg recently, so he kind of needed this one. It had a budget of 115 million and an opening of 44, and so far total worldwide gross of 165 million. You'll hear a different number later, but that is the U.S. number. Definitely a well done movie here. Definitely kind of old school Spielberg. Like I said, it builds. And all of a sudden we get this like just a traumatic like ending and everything just kind of changes. It's not one of those movies either where you kind of like it pulls off. What are we gonna see here? What are we gonna do here? And then when it finally gets there, it's like anticlimactic. It's not one of those a Netflix movie like that recently kind of happened. I think you guys all remember that. And this is kind of the opposite of that. It does build, good an explosion ending. Emily Blunt, of course, is amazing in it. Josh O'Connor, he's just the guy, man. He is one of the young actors that is worth watching. I'm glad that he kind of found a way to get into a Steven Spielberg movie. I can't wait to see more stuff he's in. I think that they're gonna do a sequel to that tennis movie he was in with Zendaya. So and he's just really good. I mean, he's really good in the recent one too that he was in with the Knives Out one that he was in recently. He was good. So he's just kind of like popping now. And that's good to hear. Let's see, Colin Firth. He's kind of a he's kind of a asshole in this. Eve Houston. I really don't know much about her, but she did good. And Wyatt Russell like kind of everything recently, and he's in this as well as the boyfriend of Emily Blunt. I'm not gonna really go into the story much. I don't really want to go into spoilers or anything like that. I'm just gonna basically say it is kind of like a basic setup here with what we're kind of discussing, and then as that kind of happens, we get more and more information, and we're just kind of learn more and more slowly about everything that kind of interconnects and goes into it. So it is, like I said, a slow burn, but then like once we get into the end, like the climax of this movie is so awesome. I really do suggest seeing it if you have not seen it. I would give it a B plus for sure. It's one of the probably top 10 movies of the year so far, definitely. And that is Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg. The second one here we're going to talk about is Sweet Dreams, directed by Elijah Sarkey, starring Johnny Knoxville, Muhammad Amir, and Kate Upton. Sorry, two different names. This follows Morris, who must coach a misfit team of his fellow housemates during his mandatory stay at Sweet Dreams Sober Living in order to get his life back on track. Jay Moore pops up in this, Theo Vaughn, Brian Van Holt, and Bobby Lee as well. It came out April 16, 2024. Honestly, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen Johnny Knoxville act in. You can tell he takes the source material very seriously. I'm sure that he has some part of rehab and addiction that he had to go through at this. So I bet it was kind of not only something that he would be unwilling to do, but something that he can also kind of relate to. So I think he did a good job there. And there's a lot of emotion in this movie too. I mean, even the things that he did to get into the rehab is like real serious. real, like, kind of just it just really hits you, and you kind of realize that what these people are going through and everything like that. I think they do a good job of fulfilling that. The one thing I would say is there definitely been a lot more cigarettes smoked in this movie had it been a little bit more authentic, because you guys kind of know that those kind of two things go together, is recovery and nicotine. Other than that, Theo Vaughn, funny as hell in every scene he's in almost. Bobby Lee is good. Um, Really kind of surprised that Brian Van Hole is also good. That's why I had to pop him up in here. Knoxville, like I said, amazing. Kate Upton pops in. She has a good, cute little role here. So definitely worth watching. It is on Prime. I don't know how much longer, though. It did say it was leaving soon. So it is something that if you have Prime, I would check out for sure while it's still there, because it is good and it is going to be the thumbnail for the video. So there you are there. That is Sweet Dreams, directed by Lijai Sarkey. Howard the Duck here, directed by William Hook, starring Leah Thompson, Jeffrey Jones, Tim Robbins. A sarcastic humanoid duck is pulled from his home world to Earth, where he must stop an alien invasion with the help of a nerdy scientist and a struggling female rock singer. August 1st of 1986 is when this came out. Had a budget of 37, an opening of 5, and a gross of 37, so it was not very well popular. This movie is like a what the fuck movie. I got stoned to watch this movie. I'm like, oh fuck it, we'll just see what kind of the '80s offered Marvel, and there's a reason why it was probably like 13, 14 years later before another movie came out from the Marvel brand, because of how just ridiculous this movie is. I mean, in the first like 5 minutes, you get a Play Duck magazine with the centerfold out completely, and it's a duck, and it's yeah, the little titties on a duck. Like it's funny, but it's like, what are we doing here? It's like a wicked, like, serious, like, I don't know, like, what person or director or producer or studio looked at this comic book and story and movie and was like, I got the movie that we're gonna hear, and we're gonna throw Leah Thompson on this and Jeffrey Jones and Tim Robbins, and we're just gonna make it as interesting as possible. We're gonna try and ride some of the Cyndi Lauper success and stuff like this with Leah Thompson being a rock star. And we're just gonna see how it goes. I if I was Stan Lee, I wouldn't even let this happen. This is a ridiculous movie, but if you have not checked it out, I suggest you check it out just so you can see the absurd vanity of this movie. I don't know where you find it. I don't even remember where I found it. Howard the Duck, directed by William Hook. That was kind of a funny one, guys. We're getting into our Marvel movies here. I just kind of wanted to have a little joke here because, I mean, some of these movies here, I mean, there's so many movies we're covering, and there's so many more movies we could cover, and I just wanted to kind of show you one that we could cover, because in canon, all these movies are all connected. So somewhere out there in the world of Marvel canon, there is a Punisher, Dolph Lundgren, and I have to know the story of how this Punisher happened. And speaking of the Punisher here, that's the next one we're going to talk about. The Punisher, directed by Jonathan Hensleigh, starring Thomas Jane, John Travolta, and Will Patton. An undercover FBI agent becomes a vigilante and sets out to unleash his wrath upon the corrupt businessman who slaughtered his entire family at a reunion. April 16, 2004, this movie came out at a budget of 33 million and a gross 54. It's kind of surprising, because honestly, this is like awesome Batman. Kevin Nash is in this, Rebecca Romaine, Ben Foster, Eddie Jemison, and Roy Scheider kind of pull out this cast here. I think they kind of missed without having Dolph Lundgren being Thomas Jane's father in this, but they got Roy Scheider, so that kind of works. Honestly, this is one of my favorite of the Marvel early movies. This one and the one we're going to talk about tomorrow are like two underdog movies that I feel like not many people, not many people, I shouldn't say not many people, and not many people really think about as how good they really are. And this one is really good. I mean, it shows exactly what this dude did. He killed his whole goddamn family. He didn't just kill the mom, the kids, like in the Punisher series. He killed the dad, the mother-in-law, the father-in-law, the mother, the cousin, the first and second cousin. He killed the whole damn family all in one shot, and then he has to kind of revenge from that. If you've read the comics, like Punisher is one that I've kind of read, and I read the line mostly associated with this, so a lot of it kind of goes connected, because then Foster's character's in it, the Tubby character's in it, and Rebecca Ram characters in this as well, characters in that line as well. But it is just a terrible story for what happened to this man, and then he kind of gets his revenge here. John Travolta plays a pretty good badass, but honestly, Will Patton here is like steals the show as a part of a bad guy kind of, and it's grounded really into reality here because it is kind of reality. Like drug lords do this. This is what happens, and this is the kind of payback that people fantasize about that have happened to them. And I wish something like this has happened to them, so they get a real emotion here. Honestly, looking back at the numbers, I'm surprised it is as low as it is. I really fear this would be $100 million movie, but it kind of explains why there was never a sequel to this. They did try again, however, and we'll talk about that one later, but not at this time. The next one we're going to talk about here is related to the movie we talked about yesterday or last week was Daredevil, and that is Elektra, directed by Rob Bowman, starring Jennifer Garner, Gordon Vizinchik, and Will Yun Lee. An assassin's change of her a cha- an assassin's change of mind leads her into a war against an evil crime syndicate. Oh, change of heart leads her into okay. January 14th, 2005 had an opening or a budget of 43, opening at 12, and it grows to 24. I bet this is like one of the only Marvel movies that didn't make its money back, to be honest with you. And honestly, with like the kind of time that it kind of came out with, and like just the non-fact that not many people know who Elektra is, or even would care who Elektra is, just in the Marvel universe itself, it does not surprise me that this number is this kind of low. Yeah, I really don't think it's like a sexist thing or like a man could do it better, and that's kind of why we see better numbers from Punisher. We guys saw better numbers from Daredevil. I just honestly think that the Elektra just does not have the name that it has, and I think that when Netflix also went into that line here where they kind of talked about Elektra, they kind of also just kind of brought her into just as a villain and didn't have her own series because she just doesn't have the name. She's kind of a side character. The only reason why they even did this is because they had Jennifer Gardner, and I don't blame them at all because Jennifer Gardner is a star, and they figured that maybe they could make a bunch of money with Jennifer Gardner, and they just did not make it, and it's just unfortunate for this series here. And it's kind of just unfortunate because we just didn't see another Daredevil from that because we kind of the Daredevil kind of badness kind of rubbed off onto this movie, and it just kind of did that. Like a lot of people did see Daredevil, but when they kind of see how bad it was, they're like, I think I'm going to skip Elektra. And that's just kind of how it works that some of these movies here, we talk about superhero fatigue nowadays, and this is kind of right in the middle of the superhero fatigue. This is like every year we get one or two new movies from the superhero genre, and then this one was just too small of a character for people to even care about, which is unfortunate because this movie is actually pretty good. If you go back and watch it, it stands up with the movies today. Elektra is a great character, and honestly, Jennifer Garner, like I said last week, we were talking about her, everything she is in, and she is good in it as well. So that is what I say about that. And that is Elektra, directed by Rob Bowman. Our weekend box office here is Toy Story 5, of course, $159.7 million. So just a huge opening for Pixar there. Disclosure Day, 17.7 million this week, $83.3 million total in the US. Because remember, I gave you the number earlier, it was $165 million worldwide. So it is doing a very good job here, US and both around the world. And that obsession just does not go away. It will never go away, people. That is 13.4 million on $220 million total. It's another it's another weekend into the double digits here with millions. What a crazy ride this movie has been on. 6 weeks in the box office. I bet this is the lowest it's ever made, and that is just a crazy run in today's box office. So congratulations to him for that movie, and it is a good movie, so it is worth all the hype, people. So go see it if you have not seen it. You still have time. That is our show for the week here. Next is here tomorrow. We have a couple more Marvel movies that are in the horror genre a little bit more. At least that's what I'm calling it. So you can guess which ones that is. I'll just tell you about that. Blade and Ghost Rider. And probably a new horror movie as well. Passengers we'll talk about as well tomorrow. Thank you guys very much for watching. We are not I'm gonna do Spotlight Saturday, but I think that what is gonna happen is it's gonna be next month that we start it, and we'll start it with Anthony Mackie. I already had the movies to watch, I already have everything written down. But we'll get into a video and everything like that for Spotlight Saturday into the July month. I think that's a better time to start it. And then that way as well, we'll also release our top 10 lists for the year so far, and we'll continue to update that as movies come on because they are just bangers after bangers this year. We're like I said, we're going to continue to march through these Marvel movies kind of slowly. I know I've kind of covered a lot, but we've kind of really just kind of dipped our toe into it so far. So we just have a lot more to go, and there's just more to do. So we'll be doing that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.